Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another inspiring episode of the Life Doula Podcast. We are diving deep into a topic that touches so many lives: the incredible role and challenges of cancer caregiving. Caregivers, or as we lovingly call them, love givers, play an invaluable role in a cancer journey. They offer unwavering support, compassion, and love during one of the most challenging times a person can face. Today, we are honored, and I'm truly honored, to have a remarkable person, a dear friend, Aris Lim, joining us. Aris has been a primary love giver for his loved one and brings wealth of experience, wisdom, and heart to our conversation. In this episode, we'll explore the multifaceted role that love givers play, the challenges they face, and the critical importance of self-care for caregivers. We'll also hear Aris's personal stories, insights, and the lessons he's learned along his caregiving journey. Relax, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get ready to be inspired by the true heroes behind the scenes. Aris Lim, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Charity.
Aris is not a new face in some of my videos and definitely not a new face in Better Days classes because he's one of our resident facilitator here at Better Days. Now, Aris, can you share a little bit about your background, what you do before you got into a full-on role as a love giver?
Well, before that journey, I was actually full-time trainer. I was working with a training organization, but everything went on a different path after that. In fact, today we're celebrating our 70 years that Pats was diagnosed with this journey. I don't want to call the big C because, well, maybe the big change that happened in our lives.
Wow, 7 years. I know I was diagnosed and was cleared 1 year ahead of Pat. So
Yes.
that is such a great milestone. Congratulations to both of you, and 3 more years before
3
we
more years.
declared on full remission. Pat is Aris's ex-girlfriend, now wife. She is also a cancer coach specializing in cancer in the workplace. And Aris is the love giver of Pats. So can you tell us also about your journey as a love giver and how you took on the role of primary love giver for Patricia?
Yeah.
I know that there is no manual that goes with it. How did you get thrown into it? What were your first reactions?
Yeah, I remembered getting this phone call from Patricia, and she told me to go to the hospital because her tests would be explained to us. And I remember going there. I was just saying that maybe another drama because we're going to the hospital, and I thought everything will just be okay. I will just take everything in. It's just a part of being a female, okay, and everything is emotional. Yeah, I know. And when I met the doctor and he interpreted everything to us, he was even saying that, okay, if you have any question or if you want to cry, just cry. But I remembered my mind blacked out. I don't know how to react. I don't even know what to ask. And I was just saying, okay. We weren't crying, we weren't emotional because we don't know what's really happening. Because I never planned this. I've been a trainer for several years. Everything is actually organized, but having this cancer is not actually part of the plan. So,
It's never part of anyone's plan.
because I thought way back it should be something within your genes. I know that with Patricia's background, there's no family history of cancer, and even in our family history, there's no cancer. So it's not actually part of the plan, and everything was just drawn to us. There's no manual.
And I want to capture that moment because really 90% of people who receive this diagnosis with their families, the initial reaction is shock.
Yes.
You don't even know what to think, as you said.
Yes.
Your mind went blank. And to your point, this was totally from the left field because there's no family history.
Yes.
And this is where we want to share with our audience that global cancer cases, hereditary or family history only accounts for 5 to 10%. So 90% is really environment and lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Environment and lifestyle. So it's totally understandable when you weren't expecting the diagnosis, right?
But one thing that we've asked from the doctor, because the doctor wanted Patricia to be admitted the next day, we just asked for 1 day. Can we have 1 day of rest and take everything in and maybe pray? And we just want to know what would really happen. And I know that I'm a person who read a lot and very knowledgeable. And there's one thing I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I don't know this kind of journey that life has thrown to us. So I said, okay, let's have 1 day of rest, and then the next day we will actually go into this adventure.
I want to be able to capture this as a learning moment. The doctors would always say, you gotta do it right away.
Yeah.
But I think for our audience out there, you have the choice, not unless it's a matter of life and death, like, it's a surgery that needs to happen immediately. You can step back and take a couple of days to be able to let it sink in.
Yes.
At least, right? I think that's very important what you shared. Can you give us a day? Because knowing what we know now, Aris, it's very important for us to be able to prepare our mindset
Yes.
before we start the journey. So that is a choice that you can make. Ask for a few days off. If it's not going to be a matter of life and death, allow it to sink in. And very importantly, allow yourself to talk to your immediate family,
Yes.
right?
I remembered we needed to talk to the children because at that time Q was like 7, I guess, and then M was around. Oh, sorry, I think I got it mixed up. Q was around 9 years old, and M was around 5 years old.
So Q and M are Aris's and Patricia's children.
Yeah.
Q stands for
Quasar.
Quasar, and M
Is
starts for
Moira.
Moira. So boy and girl. So
Yeah.
complete.
Yes, but a James Bond enthusiast will know that those are the code name for Q and M, the quartermain and the quartermaster and the minder of James Bond.
So Aris is into many things, comics, and he's also into a lot of really good movies. What are the top 5 roles of a love giver?
Well, I would say that it's like leading someone. So you will have to be like the first 3 things, and then I will add 2 more would be one that of a coach, because I want to know at that time what Patricia would want, what would be her goal. Of course, our goal is for her to endure this journey and successfully and healthy. And second, that of a mentor, though I have not experienced that, but maybe my tendency if I'll be in her shoes. And third, that of a comedian, because I want everything to be light. So every time that she would feel down, I'll be there to catch her and make it a point that everything will be in a lighter mood. And additionally, that of a financier, because being in this journey would really cost you. And then the fifth would be someone who will be updating the family and also the other relatives.
Yeah, I'll try to break down the roles because really, if Aris's children were a little bigger, the roles can be distributed
Yes.
to the family. Unfortunately, at the time when Patricia was diagnosed, the kids were still small.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work was really taken on by the love giver, who is Aris, and the roles vary,
Yes.
right? But this is what's important for Aris at that time, to be a coach, to be a mentor,
mentor,
to be a
comedian.
comedian, and of course, the very important role of looking at the finances. And I think this is something that the family should always take note of. It's kind of hard for the patient to be going through the healing process, to be undergoing chemotherapy, and after the treatment, you know, she will still have to go to the billings department and process the bills. Although this is a reality,
It's
a
a
lot
reality.
of patients go through all of this on their own.
Yeah. I remembered, of course, the doctor is explaining everything. While she was explaining, on my mind, I'm asking myself, how much will that cost? I know how much I love my wife, but the thing was, how much will this cost? Then when I asked the doctor, while she was actually stating to me the price of all the treatment, I was actually already computing in my head that I will have to take from our savings and that I will have to earn. And basically, in my mind, I was saying that would actually leave us with less. But the thing is, we needed to work on this one and this journey. And the good thing about it, the the doctor said, you know what? Here's what we'll go. What we'll do? We'll do it rush frozen. It would mean we'll do a mastectomy, and then after 30 minutes, there are 5 pathologists who will be checking them, and after 30 minutes, you will know if it's malignant or benign. If it's benign, make it a point. In Tagalog, sa inyo, magpa-chicken joy ka. That's why at that time, since by Monday, I was supposed to do some trainings, and I was actually covered by my colleagues, and then I said, can you change the menu into like make it chicken joy? So that's our prayer. So I remembered having like 2 trainings, and then they all gave me a picture of that their lunch is actually chicken joy, because at that time I was also praying, and then it dawned on me that God, I'm not here to test you, because for me everything is chicken joy. And someone said, you know, kay God chicken lang yan eh. That's why chicken joy is very symbolic for us, that everything can actually be work on everything. All this joy in this journey, the challenges, you'll be winning over this one.
One of the most important roles that Aris emphasized is that of managing the finances. And another teaching moment, please do not leave your oncologist or your surgeon's clinic not knowing how much it will cost.
Yeah.
Because you and I have met cancer patients who have no idea
Yeah.
as to how much the whole treatment will cost. And I always say this, do a treatment that is sustainable. There are so many options, and if you start with a very expensive drug, you may have money for one session, but what about the rest, right? So I think your role as someone who plans and manage the finances is very important. And Aris, remind me of the last role that you mentioned: coach, mentor, comedian, financer, and
Someone who updates the relatives.
communication is very important because it can be very, very disconcerting to many patients if they will have to answer all friends and families asking for updates.
And definitely, that's very important because all of a sudden, your relatives they became doctors, and they will say, my neighbor actually did this alternative medicine, and I know that it's already getting into Patricia's nerves. And then I said, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll ask them, what's the condition of your neighbor? And once they don't know what's the condition, they stop talking to me. Okay, and then they actually said, we are here to support. And remembering that one of Patricia's best friend was even mad that, so you're getting chemotherapy and radiation therapy. The question was, so you're ready to die? And I know that Patricia got hurt because of that. And I just said, I think being the comedian and the communicator, and then I just said, maybe your friend is really just expressing her love for you. Because one thing that we've experienced is during the chemo session, the friend will be there um, with some food and will make it a point that everything's taken care of. So there are different ways that relatives and friends will show their support.
Yeah, but I think that taking on the communication and updating is a very important role of a love giver,
Yes.
because you want to be able to shield
Yeah.
the patient from the barrage of questions being asked. What has been some of the challenging aspects of being a caregiver for someone with cancer?
Well, I can think of two things. Now, the first one was, I think because we had the provision to make it a point that Patricia will get the best care, it's as if even after a chemo session, she's not feeling anything. So she thought her body would be able to take on, like, after my chemotherapy, we'll go to Baguio, we'll go to Batangas, and then she's okay. I remember that we missed, I think, two chemo sessions because of that. And then the doctor was saying, even though you're not feeling anything, maybe it's the mind, but your body's telling you that you need to take a rest. So it took like twice that Patricia experienced that. And the second one is really sometimes because not only that Patricia was stricken with this illness, she's also the breadwinner of the family. And one thing here in the Philippines, I'm not generalizing, but one thing when you're a breadwinner, after your journey, you're still a breadwinner. So people would think that at the end of the day, we will still be asking for something from my ate, and everything will just be back to normal. So those are the two challenges that I can think of.
The last one, actually, in both cases, I can relate, because, again, when you don't feel something, you think that's gonna last forever, right? Little do we know that, our immune system is down, and when your immune system is down, your blood stats are down,
Yes.
and this causes delays in chemotherapy. And the other one is, I think Patricia and I have the same role. Even if I announce to the family that, I'm gonna undergo chemotherapy, God knows how long, and I couldn't probably respond to your needs, to your cry for help, the request kept
Yeah.
on coming, right? The request kept on coming. I think culturally, that's how we are.
And that's why, Chano, one thing that I would just like to say that I'm, being a trainer, I'm also designing a workshop for uh, transitioning breadwinner into more transformative to bread to be a winner. Because one thing in our culture, especially in the financial advisory area, they always target the breadwinner. But the thing is, this breadwinner, I even did some AI search, and you cannot really win as a breadwinner, because that is my quest to really answer, do breadwinners really win? And then when I asked AI even said it's subjective. What is winning for you?
Yeah.
It may be fulfilling because you're giving, but the thing is, what's the condition that we are actually establishing? I think Filipinos will always say, edukasyon lang ang mapapamana ko sa'yo. And it's something that I'm also challenging, because meeting a brain coach, I ask, So you're not saying education is the best gift that we can give to our family. It's really the conditioning. If you condition someone with this kind of, like, if you need anything, just go to me, even though the person's already ill, they were conditioned that way. That's why they're just waiting for that person to be well, and then they'll go back to their conditioning. That's why in the course that I'm working on, I want it transformative. My framework is WIN, what to expect, because I asked a lot of people. So, how did you become a breadwinner? They said, no one told me. I think it's
You
needed in the
assume the
family.
role,
You
yeah.
assume the role. Because breadwinner is a role. And what I want is to be able to transform it into a process. You're a breadwinner because it's a process. We will tell you what to expect, and then I will be identify the support system, integrate everyone, and then end is nurturing. Because being a breadwinner, there's a starting line and a finish line, because I ask a lot of people.
Sa Philippines, walang finish
Walang
line.
finish line, okay? And then,
Who can relate?
and then they will, okay, when will it stop? And they said, we don't know. So how can you kindly assess now the way that you're giving? And then they're saying that, we are not happy anymore in giving.
Yeah.
It's grudgingly.
I think
Yeah.
that's really cultural, but I think that conditioning applies to our generation,
Yes.
or although I'm a little older than you, but this new generation and our Life Doula Podcast team are all
Yeah.
part of this generation because they're all younger than us. My kids would talk to each other about we all need to be independent
Yes.
because I'm not gonna take care of your needs. We have to take care of each other's need,
Yeah.
and that's the conversation that now goes on. So I think this whole thing about being an endless breadwinner
Yeah.
beyond your cancer journey, I think it will stop at a certain point, hopefully, for the good. Aris, can you share any specific moments or experiences that has somehow changed your life for the better during your whole caregiving and love giving journey?
I believe it's the cycle of abundance. I remembered we were late in this radiation therapy. We were supposed to be in Cardinal at 7 o'clock. But I think we booked a Grab, and then the Grab canceled. And we were quite anxious about it because we were supposed to be there at 7 and we came at 9 a.m. Definitely, Patricia will be late at work. So what we did was we went there, and then after that, normally what we will do is we will eat, okay? And it was pala designed that way, that we miss the 7 a.m., we be there at 9 a.m., and then have maybe breakfast at 9:30 in the canteen of Cardinal, because we are about to meet a co-patient who actually came from Bulacan and having a PCSO approval. And they should have a test of a certain test. That time, they thought that they will just come and
They
then
can just walk in.
they can just walk in. And I remember that, you have to schedule that, and normally the schedule is 2 weeks. And imagine, like, someone who came from Bulacan having this, okay, not only it's costly for them, it was just approved by PCSO. And then so happened that the person who will actually schedule them, Pats know this person. And then ask the person if they can be scheduled. I know it's not scheduled, but if they can squeeze in this person. And then they were able to do that. And we were in the taxi. Paz was about to go to work, and I remembered as soon as we entered the taxi, we were already crying. So it was really by design that we actually were late.
Yeah.
So the 7 a.m. became 9 o'clock, and we were there in the cafeteria at 9:30. It's because of this. So everything was designed. It's not random. So, and then all of a sudden we just said, you know what, this is a journey. It's a gift. Definitely we don't want to give it to another person, but everything's magnified. As if when we're talking, all of a sudden we're attracting people who are actually having this, and we're actually, we're there to help people.
Yes. Even as you are going through your own challenges, they say when we help someone and we are in a good place, that's just help. But when we are going through our own challenges and we help someone, that is love, right?
Everything was magnified. I remember having a conversation with Pats. Maybe we were just having lunch and then having a chit chat. We were talking about, you know, that challenge, another word for challenge is trial, and in Spanish it's called ensayo. So everything is just a practice. Maybe it's a practice of your purpose in life, and then all of a sudden someone will text, can you please check this blog? The title is Metamorphosis in the Desert. And we were talking about butterflies having this metamorphosis, and everything is a practice. And then all of a sudden, someone will text us with this, and then both Paz and I will just have to cry, because it's as if everything is magnified. The universe is actually listening to us. That's why we get to attract all of this.
I remember having to talk to Dr. Mark Garcia, and he said that when his wife, Alyssa, was diagnosed with cancer, all of a sudden, there's just a flood of patients going into his clinic as a urologist, and most of them were cancer patients. So it's like a parallel story and a parallel transformative experience. Aris, you mentioned there's Patricia, you have a Q, you have an M. How do you balance all the caregiving responsibilities to your wife, Patricia, who was undergoing treatment at the time, and to your 2 young kids, and your own physical well-being, your own emotional well-being? How did you juggle all of that?
Well, the juggling is more on the after, because I think Pats is a good patient. Okay, she would really follow what the doctors asked her to do. Q and M, they're quite different, because Q at that time was more on inquisitive. He even researched and he said, Daddy, we need to talk. Do you know that a lump can cause cancer? And then M was at the time was just more in the playful mood, and then we need to play. So I just have to play with M. And the thing was, we were really open. We said that, Pats, if you will have to have a haircut, we need to take the 2 kids so that they will see it. And then Pats actually had their hair cut very short, and they were okay with it. And I remember when she was about to have her head shaved, and then we were actually worried about what will be the reaction of the 2 kids. And then Stella said, "You look like a baby." And then I think that was breaking the ice, because all of a sudden they were open with it, and the good thing about it is we're really very open, and we treated them as mature individuals.
Yes.
We never actually, we are parents at the time, but they were matured people, and we're matured people having this conversation with them. We never hid anything.
Yeah. I think that's one of the beautiful things when you're open to your family about it. Aris, we were harping so much, and this is something that we ran in the center. We are great believers that love givers should take care of themselves, because that's the only way we can sustainably take care of our loved ones. Talk to me about your self-care habits.
Well, the self-care habits that I have right now, maybe there's a paradigm shift. I treat everything as magical. So I would like to attract things. That's why when a person will greet me good morning, normally I don't say good morning back, because something that I've read, that the language is magical. Maybe what we mean is magandang araw or magandang umaga, but the universe might be hearing another thing, no? MOURNING, which is pagluluksa. Magandang pagluluksa, I don't want that. That's why I just say Happy Wednesday Day or Amazing Life. And then I don't call it weekday and weekends because weekday, even though we're saying it's WEEK, the universe might be hearing it as WEAK.
Okay.
So weekday, that's why you're weak, and then weekend, and then you even say, have a great weekend. So we don't want people to be in their weekend state. So what I do now as part of my self-care is really changing the language, the words that I'm saying, because words are powerful. That's why they're called spelling. Change the language. And one thing I'm seeing is I'm changing my mindset. I tend to listen more. And the routine that I have every day is quite different. If I used to have an alarm clock so that I will wake up, but now it's actually an alarm clock for me to sleep. So normally at 10 o'clock in the evening, I'm already asleep. Once my phone is black and white, I sleep, and then I'm usually up at 5 in the morning. I have made 10,000 steps at 5:30 in the morning, maybe up to 7 o'clock. Even the way I eat, I make it a point that it's in proper sequence. Fiber first, protein, and then carbohydrates. And I think in terms of carbs, my tendency is actually to lessen it. We normally eat 5 times a day because we have 5 o'clock as merienda. But now we only eat like 3 times a day because what we're saying is, at 5, if you want to eat merienda, why don't we have just have a early dinner at 6 o'clock and then eat maybe have a minimum of 12 hours or maybe even 14 hours intermittent fasting. That's why I'm even asking Patricia, where was it written that we need to eat 3 times in a day?
Yeah.
And if you go biblical about it, I only know of the Last Supper, but I don't know of the last breakfast, last lunch. So it's something that we are actually challenging now. I know that Patricia is actually practicing intermittent fasting, but what I do is really following the sequence of fiber, protein, and carbohydrates. And it's really hard to give me gifts this time because if you will give me chocolates, make it a point, it's dark chocolate. Because milk chocolate, I will not accept. But really being mindful of what I put inside my body.
And I
really
guess
the
what you
movement.
put inside your
My
mind.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
So these are very, very important self-care habits.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that one of Aris's hobbies, which makes him really happy, is comics.
Yes.
You have been an avid comics, how do you call it? Collector for how many years now?
Well, since I was in grade 5, I remembered when I was young. Usually, if my mom will go to Manila and then once she's back, she will have a lot of comics. Okay. And I was working at that time. I was in SM North EDSA. I remembered I could not afford that comics. At that time, it was only 50 pesos. And I actually swore on 2 things. That I have a lot of comics and books that I can no longer read them. I think I've achieved that. My second one is I have a lot of money that I cannot spend them anymore. But I think I tweaked that because I have a lot of money that I can actually help other people because of the journey that Pat and I experienced.
Just a quick question. Were you still able to do your comics collection while you were taking care of Pats?
Yeah. Actually, we are lucky that the one who's taking good care of Patricia the nurse was also a comic collector.
Oh.
So while Patricia's having her chemotherapy, I'll talk to the nurse and then we'll talk about updates on Marvel.
I think that was God's gift to you.
Yeah.
To give you a nurse that's into the same passion as
Yeah.
happy as you are. So it's really, really important that as we take care of our loved ones living with cancer,
Yes.
that the love givers also take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Very, very important. A fundamental question, does your role as a love giver end when the treatment ends?
Actually, it did not end because one thing, the treatment may end, but the thing is, you're also worried if there will be, it will recur. That's why everything should be sustained. still checking on what Patricia would eat, reminding her. Sometimes I may be the bad guy because I'm boring to be with because not because of my eating habits now. It's quite different. One thing which I will actually include in the self-care routine, if before I was really into let's make it a point everything will be saved. If you're not going to eat it, store it, and then I'll just finish it. But now I think part of my self-care would be, in Tagalog, hindi ko deserve ang tira-tira.
Yeah.
I will eat what I want. Let's make it a point that we will only eat what's actually what we can finish.
Yeah.
Let's not store it for a longer time. Even to a point that Patricia wouldn't want this, like the refrigerator is not a morgue for food. We need to eat fresh food. We want to make it a point it will nourish our body.
I remember our resident cancer nutrition doctor would say obesity is a conditioning of the olden times. Kailangan you have to eat everything that's on the table, right? You can't even get up. You have to finish everything.
Yes.
Right? And if for some reason it's not consumed, as you said, it goes to the morgue.
Yes. That's why I even talked to my mom, because I remember growing up, my mom would say, you know what, we can save more if we will. Patricia used to remind me, don't buy soda anymore. And I will always say, look, soda is my only vice. Do you want me to have another vice? That's why soda would always win. And then I remember that, it's just sugar. And my conditioning was different, that when I was young, my mom would say, if you want to save, let's buy cases of sodas.
Wow.
That's why I remember, as
That's
early as breakfast, I'm already
Cases of sugar.
I'm already drinking soda.
Yeah.
And then when I research on sugar, I talk to my mom, you know what, this is how you condition me. That's why the kids may find it quite boring at this time, because normally I would regulate their intake of sugar. And then I'm just telling them that, you would thank me when you grow older, because when we were young, they want us to be big, because for them that's healthy. But when we grew old, it's really quite hard for us to break that habit.
Yes.
And maybe you will thank us when you grow older.
What Aris was saying is beyond the treatment, especially for breast, as compared to other cancers, we have 10 years. 10 years to go before we are declared on full remission. So that means 10 years of survivorship. 10 years of being mindful with what you think, what you put in your mouth, and the inactivity. Nowadays, sitting is considered even more dangerous than smoking, right? So the love giving doesn't end after you ring that bell and treatment is done. It actually becomes more challenging, because now you have the whole family has to embark on this whole healthy lifestyle journey, right? How has your perspective on life and relationship changed since you've taken that role of a primary love giver?
When it comes to life, it's really setting on the culture that you want for your family, the conditioning, because normally in a family you meet, and then it's usually about eating out. That's why my kids would find me now more on avoiding some family gathering if it's just about eating, because I will normally ask, so what would be the topic? Why are we meeting? Because we may just want to eat, and we actually include all the family members to be there. And that's a culture I would like to change, because if you're a family, you want it, maybe we talk about investments, we talk about health, preparation, or maybe celebrating someone's victory and the life lessons that we have. So that's why, in terms of changing that perspective, we can only mind our own business. So I'm starting with the family. In fact, I'm starting on my own. Maybe show Pats and the kids that I'm doing this on my own. Maybe I'll be better. And then once you embrace it, I will share it with you. But the thing is, when there's a family gathering, I usually ask, so are we going to talk about? Because normally it's a broken record. It's the story, the same story.
The same story.
Yeah, the same story that
over and
you,
over.
yeah, over and over again. And having cancer is one of the things that I don't want that story to be told over and over again, because maybe it sets the mind.
Yes. And this is something I can resonate with, because now in the family, when they saw that I was very serious in somehow shifting the way I eat, it has now become a family thing.
Yeah.
Like, it starts with going to the grocery together, picking up the right food or the right ingredients. We've totally substituted things that we use in the
Yes.
kitchen, like we no longer have sugar, raw sugar. We either have monk fruit. So even in food preparation, the different members in the family would, like my daughter-in-law who's also into healthy eating, especially now that they are preparing for a full marathon, they're very mindful with what they eat, especially at night. We also eat at 6:30 max, so we can break our fast at around 8:30 or 9:30. So I think that's one of the things that I just thought about it now, Aris. It's one of the things that we can also introduce in the community,
Yes.
how all these lifestyle habits can evolve and it becomes a family thing, right?
And you can see the shift in the cupboards that you have in the house. We used to have canned goods, but now I think there's there's no more canned goods that we have. Normally we store a lot of food, but we don't store it anymore. You can see our refrigerators really just for one day and not for 1 week as compared before.
Yeah. Everything starts in the mind and then in your grocery cart,
Yes.
right? Our cupboard that used to be filled with chips
Yeah.
has almost zero chips. And if anyone wants to have chips, they have to drive all the way out to Marcos Highway. Good luck to
So
that.
you want to break that habit, that's why you're making it difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are actually making it difficult for ourselves. Aris, we have love givers watching, listening. What advice would you give to other love givers who might be struggling to find time for themselves or feeling overwhelmed with these responsibilities?
Well, I think for me it was a blessing that when the diagnosis was given to Patricia, my mind blanked out, and I immediately accepted that I don't know anything about it. And I listened to the doctors, people with wisdom on how to handle that. So the thing that I'm advising other love givers will be to calm down first. Okay, take everything in, be logical about it, manage your emotion, because if you go emotional, it's really going to be overwhelming. So I think it's really about being logical. I still don't know what the medicines were given to Patricia, but the thing is, now as I recall, I think that was the thing that I enjoyed, really just listening. That's why when the doctor said we cannot, two chemo sessions were postponed and Black Panther was being shown at that time. Oh, my role as a comedian, taking things lighter, let's just watch a movie. So it's really about relaxing. You cannot do anything about it if it's there, but you can actually do about your behavior on how to handle that thing. Okay, I know that for others it's going to be hard when you're not prepared. The good thing about it is we never knew also that financially we were prepared even before because of the insurance that we got. Now, there was a rider that Patricia was able to get, but we never knew about it. The only thing we know that we're covered. But after that, our financial advisor, who's based in France, said, you know that you have a rider. And then
Is this for critical illness?
critical illness rider at that time. And we were able to really just focus on healing. And then after that, the mentor, the financial advisor, went to us for offering guaranteed issue offer at that time because I think that's a seasonal product. It so happened that during Patricia's chemo session, it was available. That's why we also got another one for Patricia.
And I think it would be safe to say that you can always ask for help.
Yes. The thing with this, if you know it, don't worry because you know what to do. If you don't know it, don't also worry because you're unaware of what to do. So it's really not stressing yourself, maybe stretching yourself because you will have to do things that you don't normally do. And part of it is humbling yourself to ask for help. And the irony of it, when we were just focused on healing and the provision is there, people kept on giving us money. And then to a point that Patricia even mentioned, I think it's unfair for us to receive. And then I said, no, don't break the cycle of blessing. Receive it and then give it to another person. And let's make it a point that the one who gave will be given more so that the cycle of blessing will
continue.
Yeah.
Aris, how can friends, family, and the community better support love givers like yourself in their important but very exhausting role?
A while ago, you mentioned that at the time that when Patricia was diagnosed, the kids are still young. And the family members, some of them froze. Normally, when the support that they have in mind is really about the money they will shell out. But the thing is, for a love giver, the support that can be given to them, aside from being part of Better Days Wellbeing Center, is really the moral support. Okay, support if your gift is cooking, make it a point that you'll cook for the love giver.
Yeah.
If your gift is about or what you have right now is doing house chores, maybe you can actually spare the love giver in doing that. So whatever gift that you have that you're willing to give the love giver, so that the love giver will focus only on the healing of the patient, then that would be very good. It's really not about just money. Money is something, it's just an outcome of using your gifts. So make it a point that whatever gift that you have, you're there. Be present, be there to encourage the love giver that you have their back.
Yes.
You're there behind them and you're there to support them when needed.
Yes. And this is one of the reasons why Aris and another love giver or two other love givers are forming a love giver circle for Better Days community, because it's very important that our love givers are also given time to take care of themselves. And very soon, Better Days Wellbeing Center will be offering respite services, meaning you can leave your loved one who is recovering or who is undergoing cancer treatment for as long as they don't have any contraptions in their body. You know, they can stay in the center while the love giver can also go out, have, coffee with friends, or just have time for themselves. So a minimum of 3 hours, so the love givers can also fill their cup. Go out, do their hobbies, go to the gym, buy comics, or just connect with their friends as well. Just to have that sense of normalcy.
Just going to the center where they can actually talk to another love giver, maybe get some tips and techniques, would be a good thing for them. Because sometimes they would think that they're, yun nga, in Tagalog, pasan nila ang daigdig. Pasan ko ang daigdig. It's really hard. But when they can actually just set it aside and then focus on their well-being, maybe it's a very good, big help for them. Yeah, that's why the center will be a good venue for them to express, air out, rest.
Yes, a good time to really promote what Aris and the other love givers in the center are putting together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes just being amongst each other and sharing the same challenges and
Yes.
knowing that yours is not an isolated case already helps,
Yeah.
right? So Aris is forming or spearheading the Love Giver Circle for Better Days Wellbeing Center.
Yeah.
And we will be posting details as to when you guys can gather in the center. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, Aris,
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And Aris always runs a Love Givers class
Yes.
every month, posted in our Better Days Wellbeing Center
Yep.
community page. And that brings us to the end of today's heartwarming episode of the Life Doula Podcast. A huge thank you to our guest, Aris Lim, for sharing this incredible journey and the insights he shared with us. We've covered some profoundly important topics today, and I hope you found as much inspiration and practical advice as I did. Here are some of my key takeaways from today's episode: Love in Action, the role and the challenges of cancer caregiving. Number one, the multifaceted role of a love giver. We've learned about the various responsibilities love givers undertake, from providing emotional support to handling medical logistics, and how crucial their role is in the overall cancer care journey. Number two, overcoming challenges. Ari shared the common obstacles love givers face, including emotional burnout, financial stress, and managing their own needs while caring for their loved ones who are sick. His real life examples offer valuable insights into navigating these challenges with resilience and grace. Number three, the importance of self care. One of the most powerful messages from today's episode is the importance of self care for love givers, ensuring they're taking time to recharge and also seek support is vital for their well being and their ability to provide sustainable care. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're a love giver, know that your love and dedication makes a tremendous difference and you are truly appreciated. Until next time, stay strong, keep spreading love, and remember, you are never alone in this journey.